Namaste everyone. My name is Shifali and I am going to talk to you today about the misogyny of the liberals on the Think India page. I am very grateful to Think India for giving me this opportunity to talk about the misogyny of the liberals. But it's actually a misnomer because a true liberal would never be a misogynist. So, who is it that I'm talking about when I'm talking about the misogyny of the so called quote unquote liberals? I am talking about, in short, the people who have described themselves as liberal but who are anything but liberal. They are the most intolerant people around because they are incapable of listening to anybody else's point of view. And if you disagree with them, they will tell you that you are communal, you are old fashioned, you are patriarchal, you are Brahminical, you are whatever. They're always ready with these labels to stick on you just because you disagree with them. And I have had a first hand experience of this for many years now, ever since I started being active on social media, which was around 2009. And since then, just because I have chosen a point of view, I have chosen a side which does not necessarily agree with the so-called liberal. Again, I am putting it into quotes because these guys are not liberals. In fact, I have quoted a very nice term for them. I call them Jamaat-e-Fibral. Fibral as in a fibbing liberal or a lying liberal is a fibral. So the Jamaat-e-Fibral and most of your journalists, your academicians, some film actors, everyone is a part of that clique who have made certain opinions as fashionable opinions, certain opinions as sacrosanct opinions, and anybody who disagrees with them is communal, is patriarchal, is whatever you're talking about. Now, this hypothesis, it stops working when it's actually women who take them on, women like me, and I'm not the only one. There are many women who present the Hindu point of view or the Dharmic point of view on social media and outside social media now. And this is where their hypothesis falls apart. Because earlier it was always one of these women who belong to the other side, who belong to the leftist side of political ideology. They would say something very provocative on social media. They would diss our gods or our rituals or say something calculated to outrage people on our side. And predictably, social media being an instant medium where people react constantly and instantly and they get carried away, somebody would abuse. Then out of say 1,000 replies that these people would get on their social media, they would pick those 1 or 2 abusive replies and then they would play victim and say, oh my god, look, I am being trolled, look, I am being threatened, look, I am being this, I am being that, and all these people or everybody who supports Narendra Modi is communal, they're rabid, they're abusive, they're trolls, the whole thing, the whole 9 yards. But ever since women like me started putting forth their points of view on social media, then this failed because suddenly now it's a woman talking about things, right? And again, so their whole hypothesis about, oh, we are these poor leftist women who are being trolled by these Hindutva quote unquote trolls and they constantly threaten us, that hypothesis started to fail. I had a first hand experience of what really bad misogyny is. Sometimes in, I think it was 2013, way before 2014 elections, 2012 or 2013. I don't remember. I was on my Facebook page and my Facebook page wasn't even open then. It was open only for friends and friends. So I was talking about why I think Narendra Modi would make a good prime minister for this country. And my Facebook page was open only for my friends and their friends. And okay, people were putting forth their opinions. Some agreed with me, some disagreed with me, which I was fine with. But suddenly there comes this man and I don't know him from anywhere. He is a friend's friend. He comes on my page and out of the blue, without arguing, without saying anything, he asks me a question. If you like Modi so much, why don't you go sleep with him? If you like Modi so much, why don't you go sleep with him? Asks a man who must have been at least 65 years old, who had this long Tagore-like beard, who looked like a reasonable person, who ran a magazine called Civil Society. He was a communist, obviously, a card-carrying communist. He came on my Facebook page uninvited and asked me a question: if you like Modi so much, why don't you go sleep with him? I didn't know what to do, because this was the first time that I was encountering such a sexual slur, such a abuse right in my face. So I just told him, stay classy. I mean, what else could I say? What do you say when a 65-year-old man who should know better, who claims to be a flag bearer of civil society, tells you, if you like a political leader, why don't you go sleep with him just because I'm a woman? This is when I realized that you scratch a so-called leftist liberal a little below his collar, and what you would find is a misogynist, intolerant, abusive, patriarchal. You know, their own terminology you can use against them, and it would still work. This was only the first experience, and this, I would say, is one of the mild abuses that I encountered as I started writing more and more on social media. Once my page became open, once I started going on Twitter, and Twitter, because it's a very quick, because it's a very short medium, people tend to get carried away, and they are a lot more vicious on Twitter than they are on, say, other media. But the amount of abuse that I have encountered on Twitter by people who call themselves liberal, it's mind-boggling, it's phenomenal. I'll give you some examples. My children are minor, they're triplets. They've got nothing to do with my political opinion. They've got nothing to do with what I write or what opinions I hold. They have been attacked. They have been attacked in such a way that I have had to go to the police station and file a criminal complaint, not once but twice. My husband, who has got, again, nothing to do with my political views, but then the so-called liberals or the Jamaat-e-Fibral doesn't understand that. You know, they may say that a woman is on her own and feminism is a woman's right to say her own opinions without fear or favor, but they cannot understand that I can have a different political opinion and I can express it without fear or favor, and my husband has no idea of it. But that works with me. That is what I think true liberalism is. And that is what we have worked out as a couple. But the other side doesn't understand. So they would bring in my husband, who's got nothing to do with anything. My political views are my political views. They've got nothing to do with my husband. They've got nothing to do with my parents. Nothing to do with my minor children. But that is not what the liberals would say. So I got a lot of abuses. I got rape threats. I got murder threats. I mean, some of these I've cataloged, I've taken screenshots, and I've shared them on Twitter. So I'm not going to talk about it now in graphic detail. I was called Sadhvi Shefali only because I talk about dharmic issues, I talk about Hindu issues, which I am entitled to do. It is what is called as a freedom of expression. Those are my views. You may disagree with them. I don't have a problem with it. But you cannot give me a name Sadhvi Shefali because I say something that you do not agree with. There was another writer who has published a couple of books. He once referred to me as mediocre housewife turned columnist. And I was like, okay, you have a problem with my views, fine. You talk about my views. But calling me a mediocre housewife turned columnist, what are you trying to say? That being a housewife is somehow below dignity? That staying at home and running a home and being a homemaker that means that you don't have any brains? I had to tell him that, hello, I am a mass communications postgraduate. I have top degree. I have worked in the field, and I have chosen to stay at home and look after my triplets. It's my choice. Nobody has told me to do it. But that doesn't mean that I don't have opinions. That doesn't mean that I don't follow news. That doesn't mean that I don't analyze or I'm not logical. But this is a thing that keeps getting thrown at you. The other thing that a lot of people ask me, and they call themselves feminists on Twitter, they are the people, who keep saying that, oh, I have my periods, I will talk about them, but don't judge me for it. Oh, my bra straps will show, but don't judge me for it. Or whatever, stuff like that. And they call it feminism. So once I was debating with one of these self-styled Twitter feminists, and she told me, why don't you go back to the kitchen again? Going back to the kitchen is considered infra-dig for these people, and they call themselves feminists. They do not understand that there is nothing wrong in going to the kitchen. Everybody has a kitchen in the house and everybody needs to feed their families. And I'm happy to do that. But the point is, these are the people who have these stereotyped roles in their minds that housewives, oh, they don't know anything. Oh, a housewife should be in the kitchen, you should not be able to express your views. These are the people's, no Sanghi, so-called Sanghi, or no internet Hindu or no Dharmic Hindu has ever told me to go back to the kitchen. It's only these so-called Twitter feminists or Facebook feminists or people who call themselves liberals. They are the ones who have told me that if they don't want to debate with me because they know they'll lose. So their last sentence in any debate is like, why don't you go back to the kitchen? I don't know. I find it extremely funny that if this is the only thing you have by way of logic and by way of countering me, then I've already won the debate. The same thing happened when I started doing my talks on Goa Inquisition. Counter my data. Counter the facts that I'm talking about. Counter what I'm saying. If I'm wrong, I'll accept that I'm wrong. But not one person. I have had heaps of abuse thrown at me on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, wherever. But every single time, it's an abuse that's... Hello, I'm back. Sorry, I think something happened and the connection got cut. But the point is, so this lady posted a picture of herself with her cow on Twitter, which is a cute picture, and anybody who has a reasonable love for animals would have gone, oh, so sweet, because the picture was sweet. But just because it was a cow and not a dog or a cat, the way the so-called liberals descended on her timeline and made comments and said that, oh, I'm hungry, I need a juicy steak, oh, I feel like eating beef right now. I mean, I just couldn't understand this hate. Why? If somebody posts a picture with their dog, you don't go and say that, oh, I would like to eat your dog. This is just crass and inhuman and vicious, and of course it is trying to hurt somebody's religious sentiments. Similarly, Atish Tasir, who is an author and who is the son of some columnist, he actually tweeted and he said, you go wallow in Gomutra to me. I mean, there is not even an attempt to reply or to engage in a meaningful debate, but you make comments like go wallow in Gomutra or something like that just because I'm a Hindu and I hold the cow sacred. This is the misogyny of the liberals. Misogyny stems from the Greek word misogynia, which basically means a deep hatred for women. And all these people, they do not like it that women are articulate, that women have a point, and women are now put to the dharmic side forcefully and loudly. And that is why the way they attack you, it's exactly the same that they have been whining about, that same patriarchal, misogynist, oh, women don't understand anything kind of you. I've been called stupid, I've been called a homemaker, I've been called kitchen, I've been told to Amit Shah and Modi, I've been told to, it's unbelievable. But the point is, now I've become so strong that I can talk about this straight in any gathering without feeling even embarrassed. But there are lots of young women out there who are trying to put across their point of view, who are trying to say what they really feel, and they can be intimidated when somebody tries to say such things to you. When you're 21 or 22 or 25 and you are unsure of yourself and you suddenly come across such vicious hatred online, it may be a little difficult for you. So that is what the so-called liberals are trying with their misogyny. Their ultimate aim is basically to make sure that you don't speak up. The minute you stop speaking, the minute you stop speaking your mind, the minute you are bullied into silence, their objective is achieved. And that is why they keep abusing you, they keep trying this stuff. I remember once there was a guy from Dubai. It was a fake handle, but that fake handle was based in Dubai, and that person has made some unspeakable, I cannot even repeat this here, unspeakable sexual slurs against me using language which was so crass that even sailors allegedly wouldn't use it. And when I saw those slurs and there were words used like slut, worse words, When I read that, and I was not as strong as I am back then, this was about 4 or 5 years ago, when I read those slurs, I was like, okay, I mean, I felt really upset that day. So I just couldn't handle it for a while, so I just shut down my computer and I said, okay, I'm not going to be online for some time. And that evening when my husband came back from work, he just took one look at my face and he realized that I was upset. And he asked me what happened. So I showed him the comments and I showed him, see, this is what somebody has said. And we tried to find out who that person was. And we realized it's just some fake from Dubai. But that's besides the point. So I told him, I don't know what to do. Should I just stop writing? So he just patted me on my shoulder and he said, see, I'm not going to tell you whether to write or not to write, whether to continue or to not continue. I know that you're a strong woman. I know you're capable of taking care of yourself. But I will tell you only one thing, that if you stop, they win. Just 5 words. If you stop, they win. And when I thought about those words with a calm head, I realized that he was so right. The whole point of these misogynist, these hateful abuses by the so-called liberal side, by the so-called left liberal side, which is, they call themselves Indian liberal intellectuals, but they're neither Indian nor liberal nor intellectuals. This only aim that they have is they want to suppress the voice of Indic women, because that is what they're most afraid of. Articulate Indic women who know what you're talking about and who are absolutely firm with their views. So they will target Indic men, sure, but they'll target Indic women far more, because they consider Indic women like me, as a far greater threat to their ecosystem, ecosystem, than anyone else. Which is why these sort of attacks keep happening. When I go to different seminars or lectures or whatever, in the question answer session, usually one of the questions I'm asked, and it's always asked by young women, is how do you handle this abuse? And I also want to put forth my point of view, but I'm scared the kind of abuses that you get, the kind of slurs you get, the kind of bad words you get thrown at you. I don't know what to do. I don't know whether I can handle it or not. I have only such one thing to say to them. Words don't hurt you. Remember to keep the distance between your personal life and your online life. Your motto should be out of sight, SITE, out of mind. What most people will do is to abuse you by using fake IDs because they don't have the courage to encounter you logically. Don't take it seriously. Instead, have a loving, caring, supportive network of real people in your real life. If you do that, none of this will start affecting you. And once you become stronger, it is kind of like, once the words lose their sting, then they're words and you can talk about them anywhere. There was a time when I couldn't even read the word slut without feeling really bad about it. But now I can say in a hall full of 1,000 people that day I got abuse and this person called me a slut, because it's just a word. And it's not a reflection on me. It's a reflection on the people who abuse. So next time, if you're a woman, if you're a young woman, you want to speak your mind and you want to go on social media, because social media is a wonderful platform. This is the only time you can get your point across without anybody policing you, or without anyone editing you, or without anyone saying what you should or should not write. Those are entirely your views. Go ahead and do that. Just remember to keep your language polite. Do not abuse. Check your facts again and again. But do not back down. Of course you'll be abused. You'll be abused even if you talk about Rangoli designs, which is a completely non-controversial, beautiful topic to talk about. I have posted pictures of rangolis all over India. I started a crowdsourcing thread and I asked people to send in their pictures of rangolis and what they call rangoli in their local languages. It's such a beautiful topic, isn't it? It's visually pleasing. It's just beautiful. And what is controversial about rangoli? But even on such a thread, I got abuses. I got told I'm a Nagin. Oh, that's another thing that I need to talk to you about when I'm talking about misogyny. Right now, if you go on my Twitter feed, there is like a bunch of people, and all of these are fake IDs with, some random amount of numbers after their name. And their only job is to come on my timeline, post emojis of a snake or post pictures of a snake and call me Nagin or Hiss. They think that's being very logical and intelligent. That is the way they're countering my arguments. I find it hilarious. Earlier I used to respond, now I just block and move on simply because it's safe. But I mean, really, if I had to have one time somebody put that Nagin in Twitter timeline, I would probably have don't have to work for my children. So much of this I get. But now I just it's funny. If you're dealing with the misogyny of the liberals, sense of humor really helps, and the ability to give it back to them sometimes really helps. And it is not this faceless handle also which are misogynist. I will give you some handles which are very, very well-known names. So there's this actress, okay? I mean, call her an actress. She's not very good. So this woman goes on TV and she gives an interview and she says that I have a 5-year-old child a really bad abusive Hindi word starting with ch because he called me auntie. A 5-year-old child, actress and auntie, which she is, and she got so mad that she called this boy, this little child, a abusive Hindi word in a live interview on TV. Now the same woman, once I was arguing with her on Twitter, so she tells me, you middle-aged auntie or something, whatever. I don't have a problem being middle-aged or auntie or whatever. But I just find it funny that somebody who abuses a 5-year-old baby just because that child called her an auntie and goes and calls other people auntie on Twitter because she thinks that is being eloquent, and she still does that. She calls people she disagrees with auntie and uncle, and that she thinks is the best way to counter their logic. There is another guy. He is a famous filmmaker. You probably know who I'm talking about. He looks like he's forever smoking some really cheap glue. So this guy, once when he was replying to my tweet, he started off writing tu to me, which is to me very insulting. You don't know me. You have no right to refer to me as tu. When I am calling you up and I am calling you in English, you have no right to come to tutam while talking to me. I am not some B-grade actress working in your movie. So I told him precisely that. I said, don't you dare call me tu. So then he said, oh, thinking about your age. This is another thing, thinking about your age. Now this man is older than me and he is telling me that thinking about age, I should not have called you tu. There is a lady, this is Atish Tas's mother, who looks like she belongs to the era of the dinosaurs herself. She is telling me that I am middle-aged. I really didn't know whether to laugh or cry at that. Age, nobody can change. I am what I am. And my views have got nothing to do with my being a mother of triplets, or my being a wife of some man, or my being middle-aged, or my living in Pune, or my wearing saris, or my wearing bindi, or anything. They have to do with the way I think, the way I process information, and the way I talk about my worldview. If you want to debate with me, debate with my views. Counter my views, counter my logic. Maybe I'm wrong. I have never said that I'm right at all times, but counter my views. Do not attack me personally. When you attack me personally, you lose. It's a reflection on you. It reflects your mindset that you cannot bear the thought of a woman taking you on, and you cannot bear the thought of a woman being articulate about her views. You are the misogynist. You are the one who is steeped in patriarchy. You are the one who is so insecure that you don't know how to deal with a differing point of view. That is the state of today's liberal. I'll tell you another thing. Beech mein some newspaper, I think it was Hindustan Times, they had started a long series on let us talk about trolls or something like that. There was a hashtag. And they basically profiled a lot of women, all women from the other side, who basically did what I told you about, cherry-picked some abusive tweets, and they said, look at us, we are always being victimized, poor us. But they never chose to profile even one woman on the Hindu side or Indic side who also faces abuses. It's not just me. There are tons of us. But not even one point of view was presented in that whole series. Because clearly what we face, what women who support the BJP or Modi or the Hindu side or face, is not considered abusive enough by the other side. So they'll completely ignore this part and they'll pretend that it doesn't exist. So I had tweeted again and I had said that, and I'd given screenshots of some of the worst abuses that I had received, and I'd said that, okay, do you have the guts to feature me? I don't know if it was NDTV or Hindustan Times. I think it was NDTV. So I kept targeting them and I kept tagging them and I kept asking them, when are you going to do a feature on me? And I had given screenshots of all the abuses that I'd received. So after a lot of traction of those tweets, they decided to, condescendingly feature me in one of their articles, and they did an article on me which was presented as, oh, even right-wing women say they are being targeted, says Shefali, whatever. But even in this, they had deliberately chosen to misspell my name and call me Shefali Yadav. This was a deliberate thing done basically to show me that this is what we think of you, that we don't even care to get your last name correct. So Shefali Vaidya becomes Shefali Yadav. So when I flagged that, what was the response of the NDTV chief editorial director or whatever? She blocked me. So right now I am being blocked by a whole lot of journalists. I am being blocked by a whole lot of politicians. I am being blocked by a whole lot of filmmakers because they don't want to answer my questions. So they are intolerant. They do not even want to engage with me. If they want to engage with me, they just want to troll me. And then they call themselves liberals. Do you see the irony in this? There's a very famous Shire. You all probably know. If you follow me on Twitter, you know who that Shire is. That Shire kept on engaging with me even when I didn't want to engage with him. And then he typed goodbye Shefali, goodbye Shefali, goodbye Shefali some 17 times in 3 minutes. But you know something? Till today, he hasn't blocked me. And I don't understand this obsession. If you do not like somebody, if you do not want to engage with them, you don't type goodbye Shefali 17 times and then keep coming back for more. So right now, I am at that stage where usually when these so-called liberals, fibrils, as I call them, Jamaat-e-Fibral, when they attack me in a pack. So suddenly I will find all blue-ticked handles in my mentions. And again, they will be attacking me personally. They will not be attacking what I say. They will be calling me names. They will be calling me abusive names. And there will be slurs somewhere. Stupid housewife, go back to the kitchen, what do you know? Those kinds of things. But now I have developed a thick skin and I'm like, okay, I don't care. There was one time on Facebook, and this is one of the worst things. Started a fake page in my name, and they took photographs of some escort service women and they put it up there, and they made some horrendous page which then later on but people can go to such an extent, and I know who did it also, and that person calls himself a liberal. This is what liberals do, so-called liberals. They have no stomach to deal with any points of view. If you are articulate, if you stand your ground, and if you talk about things that really matter to you, the first thing they'll try to do is to try to call you names and try to shut down your voice. So my only advice to all the young people who are probably seeing this Facebook Live and who want to speak up on social media platforms, it's not easy. It requires a lot of courage, it requires a lot of inner strength, and most importantly, it requires a very understanding, supportive family for you to be able to do that. But you have to do it. You don't really have a choice. I think it was Martin Luther King who said that you stop living when you stop speaking up for things that matter to you. I am really glad that I chose to speak up on matters that matter a lot to me. Dharma matters to me. Hinduism matters to me. The rights of Hindus matter to me. And I will continue to speak about it regardless of what so called liberals or the misogynists talk about. Thank you for listening so patiently. Thank you.